achieved.
All right. What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to Studio Day, Heifer Day Quarantine. Oh, my mic's hot today. Let me pull that down a little bit. But, yes, welcome to Studio Day, Heifer Day Quarantine, where today we will preview Cowboys-Eagles, which, spoiler alert, well, you guys know what's going to happen. But anyway, I want to tease a whodunit at 5:40 today on 105.3 The Fan. So, excuse me, check us out, radio.com app if you're not local. 105.3 The Fan, home of the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy had his press conference today, and somebody asked him a fairly long question about like this practice schedule and if he's thought about changing it. And as soon as the question was done, you just hear another media member go, God. And McCarthy's like, oh, you didn't like that question, did you? And it's hilarious. And I got a whodunit at 5:40 today on the radio. I have 5 suspects for who said God about the question. So we will preview, and we've got your mailbag here today. So rock and roll, and here we go. It is time for the Nooch. Time for the Nooch to get his shine on. Okay. Talking about the Eagles, couple of things to know. Guys who did not participate in practice for the Eagles. Miles Sanders, the running back, likely that you will not be seeing him on Sunday. Lane Johnson, likely you will not be seeing him or Jack Driscoll on that offensive line. Alshon Jeffrey is hurt. So those are the names that matter, that look like they may miss the game for the Eagles. And so if you are looking and hoping for the Cowboys to win, congratulations. They do have some guys that are hurt. I know a lot of you believe that in the comments. Do you want the Cowboys to win? Do you want to win the division? Do you want them to get a great draft pick, but you also want to beat the Eagles? Are you torn? Let me know. Because the preview, the way I would normally do this is talk about, well, you know, when the Cowboys are going to run the ball and when the Cowboys are going to throw the ball, who has the advantage? It's Philadelphia when you want to run the ball or when you want to throw the ball. Because the Cowboys offensive line, you will be getting Zack Martin back. And I hope that you're getting Zack Martin back at right tackle. Because if your goal is to start developing players here, I would much rather you try to develop Connor McGovern playing right guard than keep trying to develop Terrence Steele at right tackle. It's a weird thing that happens with NFL coaches, though, where Steele is kind of their guy for whatever reason. They brought him in, so they like him. And so I wouldn't be stunned to see Terrence Steele out there again, but I'm hopeful that we're going to see Zack Martin at right tackle and Connor McGovern at right guard. I think that gives you your best chance to block Philadelphia and for the Nooch not to die. But I'm still just going to say advantage Philadelphia when they're on defense no matter what, even though it's not like they're great at it. Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, to me, is a problem. Javon Hargrave hadn't been great this year, but he is a good player. Derek Barnett's a solid player. But Brandon Graham at end, Fletcher Cox on the interior, going up against they'll move Brandon Graham around. But if you move Zack Martin to right tackle, they'll probably play Brandon Graham on the left some. But either way, they're going to find ways for Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox to make it tough on you. And you're playing the Nooch. I hope the Nooch balls out. I hope the Nooch is a champion. Why am I holding this glass like this? I hope the Nooch tears him up and has a great time. But I think it's going to get ugly. Could you open some running lanes? Maybe you could open some running lanes and be able to run the ball a little bit. But I'm just not banking on anything with this offense right now. I think you're going to turn the ball over. I think they're going to have trouble protecting. I think the quarterback is going to be indecisive and probably risk the ball and probably have a sack fumble at some point. But I am pulling for you, Nooch. I just have my doubts. When the Eagles are on offense, though, they won't have Lane Johnson. So they'll have Jason Kelce, but they won't have a good offensive line either. Offensively, the Eagles are not impressive because they've been really banged up. Travis Fulgham, I believe it's Fulgham. Old Dominion, 6th rounder a couple years ago. He's been their best receiver because everybody's hurt. Jalen Reagor, I believe, is on track to play in this game. I believe. So you may have to deal with Jalen Reagor, Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward. That would be what I would do if I was them, and take John Hightower off the field. Carson Wentz is just a roller coaster. I think he's playing hero ball right now. They're so banged up. along the line. Tight ends, they may be getting Dallas Goedert back. I think they're going to get Dallas Goedert back. So he may have enough weapons this week, but they've just been so beat up that Carson Wentz has been out there playing hero ball, and he makes some incredible plays. And then he makes some stupid plays. And he may do that again this week. But against the Cowboys defense, I think Philadelphia will be able to throw the ball for sure. They'll be able to run the ball for sure because the Cowboys along the defensive interior have been bad. At linebacker, they've been bad. Your only hope is that Tank Lawrence and Aldon Smith make a bunch of plays in the run game. Maybe Van Der Esch, maybe Jalen. Jalen had a game where he played well. But I think this is going to get ugly. And I hope it's going to get ugly because I want Philadelphia to be clearly the team that's going to win the division so we can move on with our proper goals in mind, which is young player development and preparing to draft a bunch of young people. That's the goal. All right. Mailbag. From Armando. Jeff, who's our top priority to sign on defense after this year? They don't have any. None. Guys who are going to be free, maybe you're talking about free agents from other teams, and I'd have to pull up a list to see who's an upcoming free agent. But the Cowboys have most of their money already wrapped up in their own team, and then Dak, they're going to have to tag or get that long-term deal done. So nobody. Of the guys that are on this team that are going to be free agents at the end of the year, I think Aldon Smith is the guy that most people would be most interested in, but I think that one's going to be tough because if he ends the year with 8 to 10 sacks, he's going to have a decent market, and I don't think the Cowboys will be at the top of that market because I don't know that they'll have the money. Look, you could sign him if you wanted to. You just probably have to flip even more switches on contracts that you've already flipped switches on, so you would be on your way to cap hell. But Aldon Smith, I think, for most people would be the guy. A guy I'm interested in if the price is right is Cheeto. If you could get Cheeto on the cheap, Cheeto is a starting NFL corner. I don't know if you can say that about anybody else on their roster right now. Trayvon Diggs, hopefully, when you get to next year, will be a quality starter. But right now, he's still taking his lumps and learning. So I'd be interested in keeping Cheeto if the price is pretty affordable, because otherwise you're going to have to rebuild this whole dang thing pretty much if you don't have him around. The Cowboys Network, I have a question. Don't think most fans ask and should ask. Cowboys don't make huge splash signings. The signings they do make have a ridiculous fail rate. Say the Cowboys change that philosophy in their ways to actually make big moves. Should we as fans trust them to make the correct signings when spending big money in free agency? Recent history says we can't trust them. Free agency kind of sucks, man. Stephen Jones is right about one thing. You pay great prices for good players in free agency, or you pay bottom-of-the-barrel prices for bottom-of-the-barrel players, or you pay middle-of-the-road prices for aging veterans that you're hoping to God they still have something left. That is why it's so inviting for teams to have a quarterback on a rookie contract, because then what you can do is you can trade for known commodities. You know, Baltimore is the example I keep using, where our quarterback doesn't make anything, so we got money laying around. Trade for Marcus Peters. We know what we're getting in Marcus Peters. Trade for Calais Campbell. We know what we're getting in Calais Campbell. That's why people like to have those rookie deals at quarterbacks, so that you have the financial flexibility to flip around mid-round picks for proven players that make a decent amount of money. So that's what you would like to have. Or you'd also like to have Dak. So just sign Dak. Let's not worry about all that. Too Tall Bill. My algorithm/mailbag question of the day. Make sure you leave a comment for the algorithm and leave it for what you want to talk about tomorrow. Make sure you're mashing the thumbs up as well and that you're subscribed. What could we realistically get for Aldon Smith? Great question. If you could get a 4th-round pick, I'd take it right now. If you get a 5th-round pick, I think about it. Because if the Cowboys let Aldon Smith play out the year, and if he ends with what's most likely 8 sacks, something like that, then his market might end up getting you back a 4th-round pick later, a compensatory pick. So if you can get a 4th right now in a trade, then you would be getting it a year early, and it'd be an earlier pick than a comp pick. And maybe a 5th-rounder is worth it because maybe that's what he ends up being worth in free agency. I don't know, because the sacks for him have stopped stacking up. He hadn't had a sack in a little bit here, so I don't know. Is he going to end with 6 or 7 sacks? Is he going to end with 10 sacks? How much money is he going to be worth in the offseason? So for a 4th-round pick, I trade him. No problem, no questions asked. For a 5th, I think about it, but maybe not. K.A. Bacon. I like Cheeto, and I miss Byron. Too bad we signed Amari. Amari's good. We've come way too far down on Amari Cooper. I just want you guys to know that. Amari's a legit number 1 receiver that makes legit number 1 wide receiver money. There's nothing wrong with that. For all the things that can be a minor annoyance, like home road splits, or where'd he go on that drive, or, oh, man, I don't like his body language. He's 1,200 yards every year. Clockwork. He's your number 1. He helps Gallup be open. He helps CD be open. We've gone too far down on Amari, and I won't stand for it. Jay, here at 1504, current 21.9%er. That's the notification gang. Turn on the notifications. I'm trying to get to 22%. Click on the bell. In order of importance, which position group needs to be addressed first with draft and next year's free agency? Ooh, in order? Safety's going to have nothing after this season. Nothing. Wood's contract is up. Donovan Wilson, you probably don't want starting. You got nothing at safety. D-tackle, you'll have Neville Gallimore and Tristan Hill. That's not a lot. You'll need help there. When Alden Smith is gone, at defensive end, you'll have Gregory, Tank, and Anai. Safety, you got nothing. Corner, you'll have, if all the guys who are free leave, Trayvon Diggs and Anthony Brown. You need a lot more than that. So the answer is a lot. If the Albert Breer report is true that it's possible they could move on from Jalen Smith, linebacker jumps towards the top. So again, this is why I want this team to have a ton of picks. And right now I believe they have 10 draft picks. I want them to have 12, 13, 14, because I want them to pick 8, 9, 10 defensive players, because I think you're going to need multiple contributors real quick on this defense to try to turn it around. You'll need at least 1 corner. You'll need at least 1 safety, at least 1 D-tackle. And then linebacker and defensive end may not be a must, but gosh, I want those too. So in order of importance, corner, safety, D-tackle, something like that. John, Jeff, great content as always. Thank you. What are the chances Tyron comes back next season? He seems to have battled through a lot lately. Also, is it realistic to add 3 or 4 players into the secondary in one off season? Hell yeah, it is. They've done it before. They did Cheeto, Jordan Lewis, Xavier Woods. That was 1 draft. Yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah, I think Tyron comes back next season. At least that's the way that the Joneses were talking after his surgery. Now, who knows? You know, he does have a body that's been banged up, and if he decides it ain't worth it, I ain't mad at him. But I expect Tyron to come back next year, and hopefully he's all fixed up like a brand new car, ready to dominate. Kaylee says, hey, Jeff, so you tell me you would pass up Aaron Donald or Jalen Ramsey for extra picks? I am not saying that. I am captain trade down. If you have a high pick, I want more picks. Only because we get a little too cocky with our evaluation of the players and thinking that we got this whole thing figured out all the time, and I am pretty good at it. But people didn't know that Aaron Donald was going to be Aaron Donald, or he wouldn't have gone 9th. He would have gone earlier. Jalen Ramsey, had a feeling Jalen Ramsey would be Jalen Ramsey. So that one I'd probably stick and pick if he were available in a draft. So once I watch these players, I'll have my opinions on it. But in general, trading down is better than just picking a player. In general, I'm just talking odds. When people trade down, on average, they win that trade down. Not every time, but on average. Mark, mock draft time. No, I don't have a mock draft for you. And Sam Darnold offset. No, not Sam Darnold. Sewell in the first round, that's the Oregon offensive lineman, or a D tackle. Sewell. I'll pick a D tackle in the next round. God, this defense needs help. But yeah, I'm tripling down on my offensive line. Jacob, what do you think the Cowboys could get back for each of the defensive players in the last year of their deals? Alden Smith, 4th rounder or a 5th rounder? Xavier Woods, 5th rounder or a 6th rounder. Cheeto, 5th rounder or a 6th rounder. Jordan Lewis, 6th rounder or a 7th rounder. So there's that. Mike, Jeff, been here day one. Love the show. Got fans in a group I run. Dallas Cowboys War Room. Would be honored for a shout out. But got fans blaming Will McClay. With the free agency we had and some of our picks looking not so great, does Will deserve blame for this? Sure he does. I can't just give Will McClay credit for everything and Jerry Jones blame for everything. That's not fair. So yes, Will McClay is going to have to own part of this. Part of his job is getting everybody to agree, the Joneses and the coaching staff and the scouts, and coming to a conclusion and scouting them up and getting the players in here. When you have that bad of a free agency, Will's got to have part of it. Got to own part of it. All right, leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow. Be tuned in to 105.3 The Fan today. I love you. I love you. I love you, bye. I missed the stop button. Who's still here? 1542. Love you, bye.